Hi guys, this is Girish from ECE department working as an assistant professor in BV's Institute of Technology and Science, Amalapuram. So I would like to deliver the second lecture related to Unit 6, which is Helix Traveling Wave Tubes. In short term, it is termed as TWTs. First of all, introduction. The traveling wave tube is a form of thermionic valve or tube that is used for high-power microwave amplifier designs. The traveling wave tube can be used for wideband RF amplifiers designs where even now it performs well against devices using newer technologies. Traveling wave tubes are used in different applications like broadcasting, radars, and satellite transponders. The traveling wave tubes is still widely used despite the fact that semiconductor technology is advancing all the time. The two types of traveling wave tubes available are low power traveling wave tubes and high power traveling wave tubes. How they will be used in another applications. Let us see. Low power traveling wave tubes for receivers. These occur as a high sensitive, low noise and wide band amplifiers in radar equipments, whereas high power traveling wave tubes are used for transmitters as a pre-amplifiers for high power transmission. Let us see what is the difference between traveling wave tube and klystrons. The microwave circuit is a non-resonant in traveling wave tubes, whereas it is a resonant circuit in klystrons. The interaction of electron beam and RF field in traveling wave tubes is always continuous over the entire length of the circuit, but the interaction of the klystron occurs only at the gaps of few resonant cavities. The wave in the traveling wave tube is a propagating wave, whereas the wave in klystron is not. In the coupled cavity traveling wave tube, there is a coupling effect between the cavities, whereas each cavity in the klystron operates independently. Now let us see the construction of helix traveling wave tube. The helix traveling wave tube can be split into different parts which are electron gun, RF input, magnet and focusing structure, attenuator, helix coil, RF output, vacuum tube, collector. Let us see the function of each component which is present in the diagram. First of all, the electron gun. The main purpose of electron gun is to emit high electron beam from cathode to anode. The second one is RF input. Here the RF input provides RF signal, means radio frequency signal is provided. Third one. Third one is magnet. So the main function of using magnet around the helical helical structure represents that in order to concentrate the signal towards the center, not to divert in other directions, so that there will be no loss in the signal. Fourth one, attenuator. The main function of attenuator is to attenuate the oscillations, means backward and forward motion of the electron beam. It will be avoided by using attenuator. Helix coil. In this, helix coil is used. It is mainly in the form of helical shape, which is provided or it is around the electron beam. The main function of a helical coil or helix coil is to propagate the RF signal in it. The RF output. The main function of the usage of helix tweets is to amplify the microwave signal. It is collected at the RF output. Next, the whole process will be done in vacuum tube, which is the seventh part. Next, the electron beam is collected at the collector, which is shown here as follows. So these are the construction, or it is the construction of traveling wave tube. Next, now let us see the working of traveling wave tube. A helix traveling wave tube consists of electron gun and a slow wave structure. Here the slow wave structure is nothing but the helical coil which is presented in the diagram, which is shown here with helix. The first element, electron gun, comprising primarily a heated cathode and grids. So it consists of heated cathode with several grids. This produces and then accelerates a beam of electrons that travel along the length of the tube. The electron beam is focused by constant magnetic field along the electron beam and slow wave structure. Hence, these are termed as O-type traveling wave tubes. As we see from front, it will be look like a O. Next, what will be the helical structure which we are using in traveling wave tubes? The slow wave structure is either helical type or folded backline, which will be shown later. A helix is the essential part of traveling wave tube. So it acts as a delay line, means it is used to provide or propagate the signal with a certain delay, means certain slow, in which the RF signal travels at near the same speed along the tube as the electron beam. Means both the RF signal along with the electron beam will travel at same speed. Here there are two parameters which must be identified in the helix. These are first one P, which is nothing but it is helix pitch, and this is the circumference of the helix. So this is the actual diagram or detailed diagram of traveling wave tube. The applied signal propagates around the turns of the helix and produces electric field at the center of the helix. Means whenever the applied signal is propagating along the helix, it produces an electric field at the center of the helix. Means whenever it is traveling in the helix, so it perpendicularly there will be some electric field which is propagating at the center of the helix. The axial, which is known as axial electric field. This axial electric field progresses with velocity that is very close to the light multiplied with ratio pitch, helix pitch, which is nothing but ratio of helix pitch along with the circumference. Means here the actual electric field we have to find out. So in order to find out that, we have to use the parameters P as well as with circumference A. On an average, the electrons transfer energy to the wave on the helix. So at certain distance while traveling through the helix, the electron beam which is present will transfer the energy from center of the helix to the this conductor which is present in helical shape. This interaction causes signal wave on the helix to become larger. Now let us see the amplification process, how it is amplified. The electrons entering the helix at zero field are not affected by the signal wave. Those electrons entering the helix at the accelerating field are accelerated, and those entering the helix at the retarding field are decelerated. Here what it indicates means, here we are applying, so I am going to back slide. So here we can see that here there will be a RF input which is applied. See here in the blue line indicates RF input. So whenever it is applied, so it consists of positive and negative cycle. So during this positive cycle, what happens, and during the negative cycle, what happens? It describes the slide. So I am going to the slide. So see that the electrons entering the helix at zero field are not affected by the signal. Means whenever the beam passes at the center of the helix, there will be no effect. So whenever the RF input is provided, means the positive and negative cycle whenever they provided, during the positive cycle, there is a chances during the positive cycle, there is a chances of getting the electrons to be accelerated. Means during positive cycle, the electrons are accelerated, and during negative cycle, the electrons are decelerated. So whenever the negative cycle occurs, there is a chance of combining of late electrons as well as early electrons, which forms a group of electrons which is called as bunching. Means what happens here means the fast electrons with the transit time will combine with late electrons to form high energy. Means it affects the electric field present in the helix. As the electrons travel further along the helix, they begin forming bunch centered about those electrons. Means the electron beam that entering the helix during zero field and collected at the collector end. The bunching will be shift at the phase shift of pi by 2. Means whenever the electron beam traveling throughout the helix, there is a chance of getting increase in electric field from helix starting to the helix ending. Means up to the peak. So whenever it is traveling, whenever the energy is transferred from electron beam to the helical structure, so there is a chance of increase in electric field. How it is increased means during negative cycle the bunches will form, means the high number of electrons will be there which affect the electric field which is concentrated due to helix. So this transfer the energy from the center to the helix, means from the center to the helix, so which causes the amplification, means the voltage will be increased for the microwave signal or RF input which is applied. Next, since the DC voltage of the electron is slightly greater than the axial wave velocity, more electrons are in retarding field. So what I explained means during negative cycle there will be some more electrons because the high number of electrons, which means the early electrons and late electrons will be combined. So due to where the retarding field means negative cycle, there is a chance of getting more energy, means a great amount of energy is transferred from the beam to the electromagnetic field. Means the electric field or magnetic field whatever may be, it is present around the axial field is transferred to the helix. The amplification of the signal wave will be accomplished. The bunch becomes more compact and a larger amplification of the signal voltage occur at the end of the helix. This is the amplification process what we get. Next, the later parts, the magnet produces axial magnetic field to prevent spreading of the electric beam as it travels down the tube. Means from cathode to anode, it must travel only in a straight line or a particular path. It must not be diverted in order to avoid losses. So for this, the magnet is used. An attenuator placed near the center of the helix reduces all the waves traveling along the helix to nearly to zero, so that the reflected waves from the mismatched loads can be prevented from reaching the input and causing oscillations. Means the back and forward motion of the electrons is avoided by using the attenuator so that we can avoid certain losses. Next, the bunched electrons emerging from the attenuator induces a new electric field with the same frequency. This field in turn induces a new amplified microwave signal on the helix. The amplified helix signal can be viewed as follows. So this is the amplified helix signal. Means at the starting there will be RF input which will be much less. So after the bunching process occurs, so throughout the attenuator which is kept at the center, so during after the attenuator there is a chance of getting the amplification of the signal which is caused due to the bunching of electrons. The blue color shows the bunching of electrons will be always increased. So due to this bunching of electrons increasing, so the electric field will be increased much more, which transfer from electron beam to the helix, so which results in amplified way of microwave signal. Now let us see the characteristics of traveling wave tube. The traveling wave tube has high gain, low noise, wide bandwidth microwave amplifier. It is capable of gains greater than 40 dB. Next, the traveling wave tubes has been designed for frequencies as low as 300 MHz and as high as 50 GHz. The traveling wave tube is primarily a voltage amplifier. A wide band and low noise characteristics make the traveling wave tube ideal for use of RF amplifier in microwave equipment. Next, the traveling wave tube amplifiers, and they are typically capable of developing powers up to 2.5 kilowatts. For narrowband RF amplifier applications, it is possible to use coupled cavity traveling wave tubes, and these can deliver power levels up to 15 kilowatts. By using traveling wave tubes, we can achieve the efficiency up to 20 to 40% is possible. So this is the physical construction of traveling wave tube. So this shows the diagram shows that electron bunching. Here we can see that at some points there will be less bunching and some points there will be more bunching. So it is done due to helical in nature which we are using, which is the detailed photo. So revision: the electron beam bunching already starts at the beginning of the helix and reach its highest expression on the end of the helix. If the electron of the beam were accelerated to travel faster than the wave traveling on the wire, bunching would occur through the effect of velocity modulation. We know that the velocity modulation is nothing but due to combination of early electrons and late electrons, the bunching process will be begin. Means here the transit time taken by the accelerating electrons will be less. Hence, the transit time will be considered. The velocity modulation would be caused by interaction between traveling wave field and electron beam. Here, the velocity modulation occurs due to traveling wave field, means the wave which is traveling in the helix and along with the electron beam which is traveling in the axial portion, means at the center of the equipment. Bunching would cause the electrons to give up energy to the traveling wave. If the field were correct polarities to slow down the bunches, if the field is in positive polarity and negative polarity, based on these polarities, the bunching will occur. The energy from the bunches would increase the amplitude of the traveling wave in a progressive action that would take place all along the length of the traveling wave tube. Next, the helix may be replaced by some other slow wave structures such as ring bar, ring loop, or coupled cavity structure. The structure is chosen to give the characteristic appropriate to the desired gain, bandwidth, power and characteristics. So here we show that it is a helical type, it is a ring bar type, half ring helix, curved ring bars, etc. So based on the usage of power, so we can use them. Means at low power traveling wave tubes we can use this. Next at high power traveling wave tubes we can use this. There are some other structures like we know that it is a helical structure which is a folded back. So in previous slides I told that I will show what will be the folded back line. So it is in the form of square shape. Next, in zigzag line, so it is also used in place of helical nature. So next, in interdigital line. Next, corrugated waveguide. So these are different types of helical wave structure. Sorry, these are different types of structures which can be used in place of helical nature. So which is used in traveling wave tubes. So thank you. So that's the end of the section. I hope you like and enjoy.